Basic greetings. This video will be devoted to pets and domesticated and feral animals. Who are they? They are our pets, or they are our friends, or they are our just slaves? Who are they? So if you are interested in these questions, follow this video, because I will be talking about zoos, about menageries, about different commercial conditions in which different feral animals are keeping at the present time, and what's the problem about it. My name is Viktor Fursov. I'm a research entomologist of Institute of Zoology of National Academy of Sciences, and actually I'm entomologist and zoologist. So this video will be devoted to our pets and feral animals. Why feral animals? Because pets, they are just living in our environment, in our houses, in your farm, and actually we can subdivide animals to domesticated animals, kind of agricultural and farming animals, which are keeping for them. So, and some of them became our real pets, like dogs, cats, maybe goats, maybe just pigeons, and hens, and geese, and maybe just ducks and hens. So some of them can be real pets, but some of them they're real agricultural animals, so you are keeping them just for food. Yes, so that's why they are not real animals, by the way. But what's about feral animals, which sometimes people keep in artificial conditions, where just received from the wild, from a forest, from steppe region, from Amazonian region, from somewhere from tropical and subtropical region of Africa, America or Asia, and are kept in artificial conditions in zoos or menageries. Actually, I've been participating in a lecture of one of our leading zoologists of Kyiv National Zoo, Marina Shkveri, and she was talking about zoos and commercial zoos or menageries in Ukraine and worldwide. And so what's about difference? Actually, zoos, these are special organizations, can be commercial, can be just governmental and private, and the major goal of the zoo, this is a special organization, a special area where different feral animals are kept for the purpose of conservation, breeding, conservation and exchange between different zoos for the purpose of conservation, and for scientific purpose, not for purpose of breeding and selling, not just breeding, selling again, like for money, like some, sorry for that, agricultural animals, which are just bred just for food and for just distribution, and then all these agricultural animals in baskets will be killed, by the way. So these are zoos, they are bred for scientific purpose and for conservation purpose. But menageries, these are special private areas usually, like even though this can be a large area, just like a park, like a safari park, very wild, with semi-wild, you can say, lions and tigers, or just it can be a very small place, like commercial place, like some cells for bears in a restaurant. And in these conditions, all these feral animals are kept in really strange and very difficult conditions, not ethical conditions. So that's why they became real slaves, despite they are really feral, because they were just received from wild, maybe bred one generation, two generations, but originally they origin from the wild. They are not domesticated at all. And by the way, I was very surprised that in Ukraine, this area in the center of Europe, how many bears are living. You see, 200 bears are living somewhere in a forest of Ukraine, mostly in Carpathian region forest. But 200 bears are kept in artificial and commercial menageries and circuses and such in private conditions. 200 and 200, 50-50. And what's about wolves, feral wolves? some of them still feral. They're living in a wild, about 1,000 feral wolves, and about 1,000 wolves are kept in captivity. What are you keeping the wolf in captivity? This is not a dog, because if someone has started to keep wolf like a small pet from a small size like this, it will be a really nice and funny dog, but wolf. But later, after 6 months, the wolf becoming really aggressive wolf, because we have just a special proverb in Russian and Ukrainian that how long time you will feed the wolf will be looking for the forest, not to the house. But your domesticated animal like a dog just receiving food just from your hand, and he is very polite and very kind and very soft, so you can hug it and it will be just the dog. But wolf is looking for forest, despite it can be like a kind of a very polite wolf. Okay, so what's about conditions in circuses, in commercial circuses? From the glance, it looks like animals are kept in a good conditions with good food, but still the circus and the special commercial entertainment like with dolphins with aquariums and with some animals in aquariums like seals as well, and dolphins. They're also kept in very limited condition, very limited aquarium spaces. They're kept and very often with the very rude conditions of this keeping. So cells in circuses are really very limited. Conditions where these wild animals are living for usually for one generation, and after a certain time the animal is dying actually. So this is really cruel conditions. So I'm really against of this keeping in aquarium, in zoos, in menageries, and in these commercial conditions like near the restaurant or near the hotel. And actually there are different governmental acts, like acts with how to keep wild and dangerous animals act in different countries. In Ukraine there is no act, so you can keep, you will be surprised, very surprised, you can keep anaconda, python, any lizard, any dangerous animal in your private area, in your private zoo, private menagerie, which is devoted to commercial purpose, to receive money from visitors. And no act, no governmental act how to keep it, how to take care, and that's not some animals are prohibited because they escaped illegally from the wild and illegally exported from somewhere and imported to Ukraine illegally as well. So it's like maybe some tiny chimpanzees. Why not? It's really illegally, it's allowed. No any governmental act about it. Or some primates, some of these animals still permitted to keep in a wild, not in a wild but in artificial conditions in captivity in Ukraine. In other countries there are different governmental official acts about it, like in California, in some states of America it's permitted to keep bears near restaurants like in Texas, and some areas like in the state of California it's prohibited with a very developed acts of nature conservation actually. But in Ukraine you can keep even a huge raccoon. I've seen once time just a man in an underground station, in an underground coach with a huge 2 times, 3 times, 4 times bigger than my little dog raccoon. Raccoon was sitting on the shoulder of this man. He was kissing this huge raccoon, and teeth were really extremely huge. Really, it was the pet. This man was all with tattoo, very famous in certain circles. Young boy, but he is keeping a raccoon and traveling everywhere around to an underground station with a raccoon, which is feral animal. You can say it became pet, but this is not a pet. This is not a joke to keep wolf or raccoon or fox at home, or even to keep any other wild feral animal at home. What is the purpose for? What's for? So this is a really cruel approach to keep this feral animal at home in artificial conditions. It would be much better to keep it, or if it was living somewhere in a forest, in a wild, somewhere in America, in Africa or in Asia. Some, not scientists, some breeders, some keepers, they say, we're creating very positive environment in our breeding farm, so we are breeding some amphibians and some reptiles for nature conservation, because if animals like amphibians will be lost somewhere in some native areas, but we have a population and this species will be survived. Yes, but still this business of keeping wild, exotic, especially exotic animals like chameleons, some snakes, even some poisonous snakes. So it is promoting illegal import from some tropical and subtropical countries and other countries in different areas with hot climate, different reptiles, different amphibians, to some rich countries. Illegal export is growing. So this is some public officials say that import is a second after import of weapons, by the way. So if you are buying chameleon somewhere in a zoo, in chameleon in a menagerie, in a shop, in a zoo shop, so you are supporting illegal import of parrots from somewhere, illegal export of chameleons from somewhere, either from Africa, from Madagascar, or maybe from Yemen, some tiny chameleons, to Ukraine. Yes, it's permitted. In Ukraine they're just sold officially on internet. I found many records. All these reptiles, amphibians, you can easily buy it for the price between $50 to $100. Yes, very easy. And some others feral animals also can be bought just through internet, very easy. No governmental approach, no, nothing. No act, no law, no public protest. No, because now we're just in a capitalist society, and in this democratic public democracy in Ukraine, you can buy everything because of money. An approach to feral animals is extremely cruel. You can buy it, you can exploit, and it will be your slave. You can. Some people are going through streets of a central downtown of city Kiev, not with a lovely dog like this guy, but with a feral, not feral, but domesticated? No, with some monkeys. With some monkeys. People are like to stop you and say, would you like to take a photo with monkey? In central, in downtown of city of Kiev. If you are a foreigner, you can find it in many squares in this downtown of city of Kiev, and it's permitted. Why? Because no law, no governmental approach, and nature conservation in our Ministry of Energetics and Nature Resources, it's now called Ministry, which should take care about animals in Ukraine, about feral animals in Ukraine, making no acts, no laws, no any efforts for nature conservation, because this is a very nice bureaucratic approach to keep the place in a Ministry of Minerals, Energy and natural resources and to get money from the state, because animals actually like the state and also like the land, the forest, and animals, feral animals. This is like just the resource. This is not something should be protected. This is a resource in a capitalist society, in imperialism, to get money for your private purpose. Yes, and if you got more money, you're just very efficient manager. So you should keep more very expensive pets, very expensive private animal, I would say feral animals for sale, and you can make advertisement in Ukraine and sell it. So sorry for these emotions, but I'm very interested to know about your country. What is the law? What is the Nature Conservation Act? Maybe Wild Animals and Feral Animals Act for nature conservation in your country, in Europe, in America, in Asia, maybe in Africa as well. So for my viewers, for my observers, and I will be very interested to know it in comments under this video. So write your comments, ask your questions, and looking forward to continue this very difficult subject about illegal import-export of feral animals and showing them as exotic animals in a zoos and menageries. But some videos I will show you not feral animals, but some lovely domesticated one as well. And looking forward to see you on my channel. Press like, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and write your comments. Looking forward to see you soon as subscriber. Bye bye. Bye bye.